Welcome to Ring Chasers number 9, the official Patriots podcast of Sports 2.0 Network. I'm Tanner Kern. I'm joined by Corey Walsh this morning. Corey, how you doing? You ready for a couple hour, maybe not a couple hours, but an hour of podcast grit right now, Ring Chasers, and then some NFL picks?
I'm always ready. You know, I think we did this the last time, so it's a mindset now.
It's a mindset. Yeah, we're born ready at this point. We came out the womb ready, as Randy Moss would say.
I always feel like me and Randy share the same mindset, so this is not surprising to me.
All right, so we got Ring Chasers number 9. We're going to do a little Houston Texans preview, obviously talk about the Buccaneers game last week, and then we are going to go right into NFL picks. So tune in for that, presented by Draftkings Sportsbook. And Ring Chasers also presented by Draftkings Sportsbook, guys. $1,000 deposit match. Yep, there you go, Corey. Point to it. Draftkings Sportsbook, $1,000 deposit match. Link is in the description below. Lock that up right now. Bet on NFL Sunday. Had a good night last night at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Mohegan. I know we're talking about Draftkings, but still talking sports betting. It was a good night, college football. But we're on Draftkings right now, Corey. We're on Draftkings.
Draftkings mindset. Draftkings lost mindset. Ring Chasers.
Ring Chasers is a Draftkings mindset, and then what other show? We do shows that are FanDuel mindsets too. So you know what? We got to spread the love a little bit here.
You might as well.
Might as well. Draftkings Sportsbook, $1,000 deposit match. Lock it up. All right. So we're gonna start with the Bucs. Now, Corey, I was on Instagram the night of the game, and I saw you were there. That must have been a very cool experience. You didn't tell the listeners you were.
I didn't know until Friday. To be fair, I had a friend just message me and be like, "Hey, you want to go to the game?" And I was like, "No, pass." No, I was going. I mean, I saw how much they were going for, and I'm like, at first I'm like, oh. But he let me go for free, so that was by far the best gift I could have received, probably within the year or my lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you can't beat that. It's like $1,000 tickets. I remember I wrote an article on this back in like when the schedule was released and like when the tickets actually went on sale, and they were thousands of dollars. And I wrote an article saying like how much is tickets for Tom Brady's return. And it's crazy. I mean, because they didn't drop. I think the lowest
I saw was 13.
Lowest seat was like 13. This is all resale stuff too. So unless you were a season ticket holder, you were shelling out big money for the Patriots for the game against the Bucs. So anyways, we almost knocked off the Bucs. Nick Folk, still great kick. Were you in the end zone?
Yep, that was my side. I got to watch that awesome. Really up and close. So to say I have been in therapy for the past 7 days is an understatement, to say the least. I hope Nick Folk will be ready for me to charge him my bill.
I guess we gotta bring on the Michigan kicker now.
No, I mean that was just really shitty conditions for Nick Folk to go out there. I mean, I wrote a whole article for the Talkin' Boston site about how that Bill Belichick decision this makes a ton of sense when you look back at how we like are strategically aggressive, just not dumb aggressive like a lot of teams are in the NFL on fourth down now. But seeing Nick Folk trot out when Mac Jones was just dinking and dunking his way up the field, I think I saw that he had 3 first downs out of 4 plays in that drive, including the tight end Hunter Henry drawing a penalty on a pass that was never going to get caught.
Yeah,
but I'm not upset. I understand it, but at the same time, like, you know, the Patriot fans and us, we're just like, oh man, we just can't let Tom Brady have the ball back with 53 seconds left anyway if he makes it. And they had 2 timeouts. So to sit here and say, yeah, you know, the Patriots were going to win this game if they hit that field goal could not have been further from the truth, probably.
Yeah, Tom Brady definitely goes down, drives down the field, wins the game. There's no doubt about it. Now, when you were sitting in the end zone, did it look like it was going to go in, or did you know it was going to hit off the post?
To be honest, every kick that I saw, like off kickoffs too, looked like they were just going to fly out of the right side of the end zone. So like watching that ball the whole time, I was just more concerned to know if it was going to like stay level, and it did. I thought it was much lower on the field goal than it was. I thought it was just hitting the lowest part of the crossbar all the way to the left side, but turns out it would have made it if it was just a little more to the right.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hell of a kick. You got to give him credit for that. I mean, he's been an ace all year, going back to last year even.
Yeah, Nick Folk, though, isn't a distance kicker. That was like also my main concern. Like, he's an accurate kicker, but I don't think he's ever been touted for his leg strength. So either way, I was just like, and then, but when I left the game, I was like, you know, that was a great game. I couldn't ask for anything more than to come close in a battle with Tom Brady. I was hoping my friend would want to leave by the end of the third quarter if things looked bad.
No, you can't. You gotta wait it out and you gotta watch the ass kicking at that point. But it wasn't an ass kicking. That's good. And we look at the game too. It's like Vegas made a ton of money. 90% of the bets were placed on the Bucs spread, Corey. But you were not one of those people. You went with the Patriots on the spread.
Yeah, finally, my emotional hedging finally paid off. Unfortunately, it just didn't lead to a win either. We lost and we covered. So that was just like a yay like type deal. But it was such a good game. Like, I just walked away from that game very happy because, the fact that the Patriots still look decent against a Super Bowl contender after the season we've had thus far, that was the biggest win I'd say we've had all season. I'm not saying us crushing Zach Wilson, the High School Musical backup singer, is going to be what I'm going to walk away from the season being like, that was the best game of the year.
Don't disrespect Zach Wilson. He's coming off a big win of the Tennessee Titans. They just kicked off in London right now. They sent the game to London because nobody cares about it.
Oh, bonjour, London.
All right, so let's get into a panic room. We're getting through our segments here. I don't know we're not going to talk about the offensive line right now for this week. This panic room's got to be for last week. So we can't cheat the system here.
Of course, no. The panic room, I think we both agree, is that the run game is dead.
Yeah, and like you said too, obviously they're not going to try to run the ball against the Bucs, but they've kind of gotten away from the run game a lot, and that's a little scary because as good as Mac Jones is throwing the football down the field now, is after his 271-yard performance or whatever it was, we still need to run the football to win games.
Yeah, I mean, against the Bucs though, that was just never. We saw it with every run attempt that we had. It was like the line would just get just surround the running back every time. It didn't matter who it was. JJ Taylor got his little ounce of sunshine that I was hoping for, and then he got put into the doghouse immediately with a quick fumble. So I was like, that's great. But that just only means more Brandon Bolden time, which is something that neither of us really want.
Nope.
So now, Tanner, this is really depending on your boy, Ramondre, this upcoming week, because Damian Harris obviously still isn't fully out of the doghouse yet.
Yeah.
So if we can see a little thunder and lightning combo from Ramondre and Damian Harris, things could look a little better for us.
Yeah, here's my lock of the week right now for DraftKings Sportsbook. I wrote an article on this, my best prop bets. Damian Harris, like under 8, I think it was under 80 yards, under 80 and a half rushing yards. Like, hammer that. Freaking hammer that. People aren't, if you're not hammering that, what are you doing?
I think this is going to be the game where we're just going to run it the whole time.
I know we also don't have an offensive line either, so we got to factor that in.
Yeah, no, but at the same time, like, if there was a game where Bill decides he's just going to flip the script entirely, it's against Houston. This should be a game that we could sleepwalk our way into and at least win. I'm not saying we're going to dominate, but we could win this game probably with our eyes closed. The Texans are awful. We're not awful. We're just banged up, and we're a team with a dozen new players that weren't in the system last year. And to be fair, the defense looked great, and I think Davis Mills, the defense could be our offense this game. I could see us scoring at least 2 touchdowns off of Davis Mills.
And you know what? That's fine. You just got to go under on Damian Harris rushing yardage.
And also, Ramondre over.
Yeah, I'll go over with Ramondre. I think Ramondre is going to finally get to carry the football today a little bit. I think he's out of the doghouse by now, week 5 after his week 1 fumble.
Yeah, I would hope he's out of the doghouse after JJ Taylor just joined him in it and James White was carried off a stretcher. So there has to be at least someone to step up. I doubt we have another practice squad player that's going to come in and play running back.
All right, you ready for our leading rusher last week? Do you know it off the top or no?
I saw it was Nelson Aguilar on ESPN, but
one carry for 4 yards.
Yes.
All right.
I was there, and I couldn't even remember that Nelson Aguilar play if you told me it.
That's why he's the leading rusher. I don't even you shouldn't even list the leading rusher at this point. If you are the leading rusher as a receiver with 1 carry for 4 yards, you should not be listed as the leading leading rusher. That's what
in Gillette, they show you like along like the second row of seats, they have like the LED rotating ticker.
Yeah.
And it said that it could show the Bucs stats and the Patriots stats. And I looked at them like throughout the game and I was like, okay, passing's pretty close. Like Mac's going tit for tat here with Tom. And then I look at the rushing and it's like 93 or something. And then I look at us for like the whole game. It was -1. And I was just like, I never saw the -1 budge. And I'm like, I think we're done with the run. I think that's it. Also, Nelson Aguilar's run, I guarantee you, was just a screen that Mac threw behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah. And that was it.
Yeah, there you go. Like when I think it was like the third quarter on the television broadcast, were like, how long are the Patriots going to be able to hang in there with the Buccaneers? How long is this Buccaneers offense going to be able to, or how long is the Patriots defense going to be able to hold off the Buccaneers? And they were talking about the rushing yardage and just how they're just going to beat them in the ground. Ultimately, it didn't happen though, Corey. We covered.
Yeah, I mean, we emotionally won because we got a good game and Tom looked decent. Not really, but Mac Jones looked great.
Mac Jones looked great. Tom looked decent. And Tom, you know what?
Jittery. He just looked like every game in the AFC Championship against Denver in my mind. He just he was overthinking every throw.
Yeah, he was definitely nervous to go out and play football. But that's to be expected. You're coming back home. Yeah, it's like this was probably one of the toughest atmospheres of his career, just because it's like he's been to the Super Bowl, he's been to the AFC Championship, he's been to these big games, but this is a big game that you just can't compare anything else to.
He's never had to prep to go back to New England. Yeah. He always just considered New England home. So going back to an atmosphere that's completely different. I heard Peter King, I think of NBC Sports, say that Tom Brady said that preparing for this game was the hardest game to go over film of anyone he's ever had to prepare for, because he's never had to prepare for Bills defenses before, and he didn't know what was going to happen. And he said that after this game, I have been the most drained emotionally I've ever been after a week ever, including Super Bowls, AFC championships. So after hearing that and then seeing what he was like on the field, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, definitely. And now when we look at Brady too, after the game, he was crying with Michelle Tafoya in that interview. It wasn't crying, but you could tell he was emotional. He was emotional before the game as well. But he said he's coming around too. When his career is over, he's going to be back in New England doing stuff. So
I fucking hope so, Tom. If you came off here and said I'm staying in Tampa Bay, I'd be more pissed at you than I already am now. So let's just keep it together, Tom. Tampa's nice, but it's like your honeymoon.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So Jonas Gray Award of the week here. I'm gonna give it to Mac Jones this week because this was the first week. I know it it's kind of the one hit wonder, but this was the first time we've seen Mac Jones actually come out and play really good football. Outside of the whole little dink and dunk scheme, we're actually doing some downfield stuff a little bit this week. So it was good to see. I'm gonna go with Mac Jones.
Yeah, it can't be understated that Mac Jones played as well as a Hall of Fame quarterback that was expected to come in here and absolutely eviscerate our defense.
Yeah.
Mac was the sole reason we were in this game to begin with. Actually, that's not true because my Jonas Gray Award of the week goes to Bill Belichick, the hoodie.
Ooh, okay.
Because that defense kept the Tampa Bay offense at bay the whole time. That team could have easily cranked away a few touchdowns if it was any other team getting coached by someone. New England was coached by Sean McVay, we still would have lost. Because it was Bill's defensive schemes. I mean, it was 7-3 at the half. That was probably the most boring half you could have watched if you were expecting this destruction of the Patriots. But as Patriots fans, we were like, all right, this is working exactly the way we expected. It reminded me a lot of when we played the Chiefs last year, and Brian Hoyer was our quarterback in that game because Cam had COVID. And it was so close because Bill was just keeping the Chiefs down to field goals, but we weren't scoring either. Yeah. And I was just Bill really made this game as good as it could have been. Tom was rattled. All they were letting them do is run the ball with Fournette. Fournette was the best offensive player for Tampa, in my opinion, in that whole game.
Yeah, he had 90-something yards on the ground, so it was good to see. I mean, it was cool to see Tampa actually go run the football and try to – I mean, they could do it against us a little bit, but it was good to see that. And, yeah, I agree with Bill Belichick. I think Steven Belichick deserves a shout-out too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what that tongue do, I guess, right? I mean, that tongue was wild.
He's it's funny. He's doing dip the whole game, and he's got this big wad of chew in his mouth. It's awesome. It's epic.
Dude, Steve Belichick is my spirit animal, honestly. I mean, he just he's doing chew. He's just doing weird shit with his tongue right when the camera's on him. Yeah. Chris Collinsworth is having a field day with Steve. He's like, what is up with this guy, Al? And who knows? Steve Belichick, great also candidate for Jonas Gray Award of the week.
Definitely, yeah. Steve, he'll be winning one before the end of the year. Inside the hoodie now, Bill Belichick. We're going to talk about what Bill Belichick said to his team. I think he said the same thing to his team as he did to himself in his office after the game. Now you do the office impression, I do the one in the locker room, and I think he basically went in there probably and said, "Listen, guys, you played well, but you didn't win the football game, so you didn't play well enough." That was kind of his tone in the post-game press conference. He wanted to win that game, obviously. But you also got to think, too, for him, in the back of his head, he's saying we shouldn't be able to compete with that team.
Yeah, Bill definitely got into the office. He's like, sits down. He's like, God, I'm a fucking genius. He's like, I made Tom look like shit for like the whole game. Everyone's going to talk about my quarterback and how I outsmarted Tom. Even though we lost, I decided to take the bullet because I knew he would come back downfield and score on us. So I went for a field goal, a 56-yarder in the elements, being like, all right, I guess this might not go in.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go in, and it's like, oh, shucks. Well, we lost because of me, not because Tom beat me. And that's the way I would rather have it.
Yeah. So, I mean, so he had to be proud of himself. He had to be proud of his defense. I mean, that was a hell of a performance considering at least I thought Tom Brady was going to go in there and put up 50 points on us.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like a 31-21 game, but I thought it was going to be us mostly getting those 21 in garbage. So pretty content overall. I think that's the message of this game was moral victory. Yeah. And that's it.
But if we come out, even without our offensive line today, if we come out and we lose to the Texans, last week didn't mean a damn thing. Like, it's just like you're deflated now. So quick hits.
No pun intended.
There you go. Quick hits. We have 4 offensive linemen injured today. I think that's our biggest quick hit heading into this game. Corey, what do you got?
My second biggest quick hit is a rest in peace to Stephon Gilmore. That was a great time.
We didn't talk about that.
Thanks, Stephon Gilmore. We had some great memories. I would have liked to see you go for a pick higher than a 6th-round pick last year at the trade deadline or at the beginning of this year. So once again, I know I just gave Bill Belichick my Jonas Gray Award of the Week, but Bill, fuck you, respectfully, for deciding to do a who has the bigger dick contest between you and Gilmore. And it looked like Gilmore won. So that's cool. I'm not really super upset. I thought this was going to happen. I mean, he was not injured. He's playing this week for Carolina. He came off the PUP list. What a coincidence. It's almost like the quad injury never existed. And it was all about money the whole time. And all this means to me is that that J.C. Jackson is now going to get a contract extension this offseason. And that Bill must think, after holding Tom Brady to no touchdowns, that we have the best secondary in the league.
You never know. And you know what, too? I just want to talk about Gilmore and Carolina. Carolina's going to be a good football team. Carolina's a force to be reckoned with. In
Carolina all depends on Sam Darnold. If he can just stay at the level he's playing now, they'll be like the wild card team. I still don't think they're better than Tampa Bay, and that's who's in their division. So they'll be a nice wild card team. I'm not expecting major things from them, but they're taking the leap. So that is huge.
McCaffrey has to stay healthy, too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with Darnold, you're not as dependent on McCaffrey as you have to be. Because when it was like Cam last year, Cam 2 years ago, Teddy Bridgewater the year before, they were both Cam at that point was kind of banged up, and Bridgewater's so limited that you need to use McCaffrey to generate offense. Having Chuba Hubbard is not terrible, but obviously he's no McCaffrey. So
yeah, definitely. All right, so the line in this game is set at 7.5. You said it was at 9 earlier today. I had it at 10 earlier in the week. I'm going to change this. So on my B parlay video, I picked Patriots at -10. I don't think I'm going to take that today without the offensive line playing. Trent Brown injured with a calf injury. Mike, how do you say his Corey? Owenwu has COVID-19. Isaiah Wynn COVID-19, and Shaq Mason COVID-19. Or not? No, Shaq Mason abdomen. So we're screwed. I mean, we're not going to have an offensive line. What I got a question for you, Corey. What happens if one of our offensive linemen get hurt today?
I would expect to see Jonnu Smith playing some right tackle.
Yeah, like if you told me, because you said they didn't pick anyone up, they didn't bring anyone off the practice squad. Like, who's going to play it? And who's going to play?
I think we're just going to see a lot of random fat dudes they picked up on the way to the Houston Texans stadium. And they're just going to be you ready to guard against the Texans?
Yeah, I mean, so the depth chart, yeah, I guess. Okay, so so Ted Karras he's the backup guard, center, and guard. So he's the backup interior guys. Durant and Heron are the backup tackles. So
I think Juice is going to play.
Heron starting at right tackle today, right? Durant.
I think it's Karras at left guard. I think it's Cajuste at left tackle. It's
Redmond playing, Alex Redmond.
No, it's just going to be Heron and Durant.
Okay, but so we're missing 3 though. We need one.
No,
more.
it's Cajuste, Karras, Andrews, Heron, Durant.
Okay, so based off the depth chart, we have 1, 2. We have 2 backup offensive linemen today, so that's okay. We can go into that.
And Jonnu.
John will get in there and block a little bit. We should have kept Gronk because Gronk just blocks. That's what you say you want Tampa Bay to do, just block. But he doesn't do that anymore. He catches football. Gronk didn't play in the Bucs game.
Yeah, that was nice. That would have been awful. Brady Gronk touchdown in person. You wouldn't be able to tell if it was the rain in my eyes or just pure tears.
Yeah, definitely.
This team's going to suck. I just want to point this out. Like, I'm going to watch every second of this Patriots-Texans game. It's going to be ugly. I just hope we win. That's it. We can win by 1. We can win by 3. We're not going to win by anything more than like 7.
Now, based off what we've done with the run game the past few weeks, do you think we come out today and run the football with no offensive line, or we try to throw the ball with no offensive line? What do you think is a better mix?
I think Bill's going to just try to see what the run, or Josh is going to see what the run looks like. If anything, we'll just do a lot of play action if we establish running early and just not even like run well, just establish that we're going to try to run.
Yeah.
Because Mac doesn't really have that yet in his playbook. And in Alabama, that was like one of his biggest factors for getting the ball downfield was off of play action. And we can't run it when we don't run. The defense is going to be like, oh shit, a play action. They're just going to know that it's a pass and they're just going to sack it before the ball leaves his hands.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, rest in peace to the Alabama Crimson Tide last night. Rest in peace. Texas A&M knocked him off. Whoever, what's our fan? Bama down south or whatever. Bama up north.
Alabama lady.
Alabama lady. Yeah, the Mac Jones lover. Like Alabama got knocked off last night. So I apologize to you for that. That sucks. Sucks for a lot of bettors out there too. So anyways, Patriots -7.5. Do we cover -7.5, Corey? This will be the one pick that we give away. No. Okay. No. No.
I'm thinking I would take Texans +7.5, not because of all the injuries. That's it. Also, Jalen Mills isn't playing, so Stephon Gilmore's absence is now completely felt.
Yeah,
because now it's just gonna be J.C. Jackson and Jonathan Jones. I hate Jonathan Jones. He's so bad, but it's whatever. At this point, I would take Richard Sherman, who we absolutely abused the entire game.
We probably should have picked up Richard Sherman though. Realistically, if we knew we were going to get rid of Gilmore.
I mean, I saw Richard Sherman in person and he looked like a piece of burnt toast. He was awful. He was like, I haven't even felt like I've been on the couch. And I'm like, it looks like you still have like, like when you sit for a long time, your legs fall asleep, then you stand up and like you're walking around and it feels like you're drunk kind of. That's what Richard Sherman looked like off the snap every time against Kendrick Bourne. It was embarrassing.
Hey, you know what? He probably is worried about his lawsuits or something. He wasn't thinking about the game. That game had no meaningful connection to him. He was just out there playing a little football.
He was out there because every single one of Tampa's secondary is on the injured reserve.
Yeah. So and Tampa's defense it's not great. It's not as great as we thought it was going to be.
Her rush defense is awesome. It's so good. It's anything past there is brutal.
Yeah. So and the NFL is a passing league, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah, the Patriots are a running team on paper.
Yep, there you go. All right, Corey, let's go final score predictions, and we'll wrap this one up and get into our next pod of the day. So, I mean, you want to go first? You were closer than I was.
I'm going to say Patriots 16, Texans 9.
All right, bet the under. Bet the under. That's what we're going with. I'm going to say Patriots. I'm going to say Patriots 17. Texans
10. So we just got 1 point off of each other.
13.
Oh shit, that's depressing.
17 Texans 13.
You're a Davis Mills guy. You believe in the general.
I don't. It's not I believe in the general. I mean, I believe in the Texans because we don't have an offensive line today. I mean, an offensive line is pretty important to winning games.
Yeah, I saw Davis Mills go up against Buffalo last week, and I know we have a better defense than Buffalo, and they basically scored all their points off of that, off of Davis Mills throwing 4 interceptions. I'm going to say if there was an over-under, I don't know what the line is for how many interceptions Davis Mills would throw, but if it's under 2, I would bet over. I think he's going to throw 3 interceptions at least.
I think it's probably going to be 1.5 because I was thinking back to a line from Trevor Lawrence that was 1.5 when he was throwing like after his first 3 games, and I think it was over 1.5, and usually it's over 0.5 for a quarterback. But still, I don't know. I like the Patriots today. I mean, you got to believe in the Patriots. We didn't believe in them last week. They basically won last week.
They won to me. And that's all that matters.
They did win the game last week. The Patriots won last week against the Buccaneers. We're
2-2. That's awesome. Go us.
We're 2-2. Last week doesn't matter. I kind of had this thing like the Red Sox, like whatever they did yesterday doesn't matter. Like today's the day. You know what? Patriots are undefeated right now. That's what we think. They're 1-0 after beating Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
In moral victories, we're 1-0 for sure.
Yeah, moral victories 1-0. All right. So Corey, you got any final thoughts for me heading into today's game?
Rest in peace to Mac Jones, because even though the Texans don't have a good defense at all, I feel like he'll be having a date with the turf for a whole day. He'll be Frenching it all night long.
I want to give a shout out to Sophie Scott right now. My friend texted me about Sophie Scott, just about how she walks through plays with Mac Jones. I just want to give a shout out to her because you know what? You were the reason Mac Jones threw for 275 yards last week. Nobody else.
Tanner just really wants to steal Sophie Scott from Mac, and he's not really apologetic about it.
I had no chance with Sophie Scott over Mac Jones. Mac Jones is a no bull athlete, and he's a professional quarterback. We just make fun of these guys.
Yeah, but can he run the fastest mile in his group?
Hey, over 200-pound division, baby, freaking champion. I woke up this morning feeling like a champion. Mac Jones might wake up tomorrow not feeling like a champion, depending on what happens. But we want him to feel like a champion tomorrow.
Of course, at the end of the day, power ranking, Mac Jones being great, Tanner being with Sophie Scott number 2.
And being the fastest 200-pound runner, the Hartford Marathon.
That's another moral victory. 2-0 for Tanner. I'm still 1-0. That kind of sucks, but we'll just move on.
There you go. All right, so we're gonna head over. We're gonna do a new show, but if you're on YouTube right now, we're gonna be right back here, probably like 5 minutes, doing our I'm thinking MLB picks. Geez, NFL picks for Week 5, guys. Very excited about that. DraftKings Sportsbook, the best book in the business. We will see you in a minute here. Yep, point to it. There we go. We will see you in a minute here. That was Corey Walsh, Tanner Kern. Thanks for joining us for Ring Chasers. Go Pats.